All right. We will now call the Ways and Means meeting to order. Sharita, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Davis. Alderman Vaccaro.
Present.
Alderwoman Howard. Alderwoman Howard, you're still muted.
Present, sorry.
Alderwoman Hubbard.
Present.
Alderwoman Murphy.
Here.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Present.
Alderman Muhammad. Alderman Oldenburg.
Present.
Alderwoman Boyd. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
She's still muted.
Alderman Clark Hubbard, need to unmute, please.
Here.
Thank you.
Chairman Ballmer.
Yes. Present. Okay.
8 present, you have quorum.
All right.
I'm sorry, Alderwoman Boyd, I see you.
Alderman Boyd is present. Okay.
Thank you.
Do we have any minutes to approve from last meeting? I believe last meeting was actually in regard to this, if I remember correctly.
Yes, we do have minutes.
Okay, then I'll move for approval of the minutes from previous meeting.
I'll make a motion. I don't know the date of it, but I would.
July 16th.
So
All right,
we'll
thank you very much.
approve the July 16th minutes.
Entertain a second.
Second.
All right, Sharita, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Davis. Alderman Vaccaro.
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard.
Aye.
Alderwoman Hubbard.
Aye.
Alderwoman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Aye.
Alderman Muhammad. Alderman Oldenburg.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
Aye.
Chairman Ballmer.
Aye.
9 aye votes.
All right, thank you very much, committee. We will hold off for excused Alderman until the end of the meeting. With that, we will proceed with Board Bill 94 from Alderman Todd from the 18th Ward. Please proceed, Alderman.
Good morning. First of all, let me thank the Honorable Chairman for calling the meeting and the Honorable Committee people for your attending the committee meeting in your precious time. This bill is called the Veterans Community Project. This bill will take, if passed, will allow veterans to homeless veterans to have a place to live and many other services. I have the Honorable Jason Kander, who at one time was one of our U.S. Senators, I think, U.S. Senator candidates on the line, who can explain, who is a veteran and who can also explain the Veterans Program. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kander has more knowledge of this program than I do. Is it okay if he explains it?
That'll be fine, sir. This, Mr. Kander, when you come on, you are on camera, and please introduce yourself for the record.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Alderman Todd. My name is Jason Kander. I am the former Secretary of State of Missouri. I think a friend to many of the faces I see staring back at me on the screen. I'm going to briefly tell you a little bit about Veterans Community Project and about my connection to it. And then I'm going to turn over for a lot of the details to my colleague. So I'm the president of Veterans Community Project. I'm joined today by the CEO, Brian Meyer, who's also one of the co-founders of Veterans Community Project. So I'll be brief here and then turn it over to Brian. First, Veterans Community Project, I'll give you the overall. Veterans Community Project exists to prevent any veteran from falling through the cracks of the system, specifically with an emphasis on eradicating veterans' homelessness. and has been wildly successful in doing that in Kansas City, and is now able, as a result, to expand into other communities. My own connection to Veterans Community Project is, as I'm sure many of you are aware, I dropped out of public life briefly almost exactly 2 years ago to get treatment for post-traumatic stress from my deployment to Afghanistan. When I did that, I actually went myself to Veterans Community Project for assistance in getting my paperwork and everything expedited at the VA. It made a huge difference for me. And several months later, I was so inspired by the organization that I was hanging around a lot. And they told me, hey, we've had a bunch of inquiries from around the country of people wanting us to expand. You've built a national organization before. Do you want to just come here and do that? And so that's really my role with the organization. But with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Brian to tell you more about the origin story of the organization, about sort of his coming to this personally, and then he can also get deeper into our St. Louis project.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Brian, please, again, for the record, introduce yourself, state your name.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Alderman Todd. Really appreciate everything. Brian Meyer, I am the CEO and co-founder at Veterans Community Project. So Jason hit on some of the high-level points, and I'll go in just a little bit more detail, but not too much. I want to be respectful of your time. The Veterans Community Project, nonprofit organization started in Kansas City. Really, it comes from a group of combat veterans. We're all from Kansas City. We were all working with the homeless population in different capacities. And we kind of got together and said, you know what, if we could do anything to make a more substantial impact in the lives of veterans in the Kansas City area, what would that look like? So after quite a while of planning, we came up with this concept of villages of tiny homes as transitional housing for the homeless veteran population. Now, when I say transitional housing, it's not just the houses that really make that impact. With every village we build an on-site community center. We hire case managers. These case managers work with the individuals every single day, get them back on their feet, get them stable, and then find them a permanent housing solution. And it was through that program, as Jason mentioned, we did this and we did it in Kansas City and started having a lot of success. And with that success came some attention and people reaching out, asking us to expand. Jason's right on point in saying that it was about that time he became more involved with the organization. And we kind of just decided that now we've been so successful in Kansas City, we have these requests, we should spread this out to other cities if we can. And I will just be very forthcoming in letting you all know that St. Louis is the place I've always really wanted to get to next. So I'm extremely excited about this opportunity, although I'm sure there are a ton of questions and I'm more than willing to answer anything you may have.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Is there any other thing part of the presentation, Alderman Todd, before we would open up to questions?
No, Chairman Palmer.
Okay, because this is going to be about what the program is. I'm guessing we have a diagram of what the site's going to be and all those things. If these gentlemen can speak to that, that's fine. So with that, I'll open up to questions. I see Alderman Davis has joined us. Alderman Davis, any questions of Mr. Kander or Mr. Meyer?
First of all, hi to someone I haven't seen for a while, but I always enjoy working with is Jason. And most especially to you, Brian, and the organization. This is exciting for St. Louis. Alderman Todd knows I've been talking about tiny homes for about 3-4 years, and this is just like God sent. And most especially when you're focusing on veterans who need more help than we'll ever be able to give them to repay them. I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if I missed the part that says that the project itself is actually going to be a part of the 4th, the 18th, and the 19th ward. Also, when you were looking at places in St. Louis to identify to build this village, you were very cognizant of additional services that could be provided with access to transportation or a short walk or whatever. And that location is definitely going to give that to the veterans. You have the VA hospital. You have a new clinic that was built there on Washington. We have 4 other VA service organizations, one that's geared towards women only, and we're about to open a new therapy place on 1900 Washington that deals with PTSD specifically with brain therapy. So I'm excited. My only question is, how soon can it get started?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Alderman. Alderman McCarroll, any questions of the speakers?
No, not really. We're mostly, if I understand the board bill, it's just a quit claim deed. And I don't believe there's any other real
All right.
questions.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Alderwoman Howard.
No, I just would like to compliment the Alderman Todd for this endeavor, and I think that this is a good investment for a nominal fee in the city of St. Louis and the veterans that have served this country. Thank you so much for being interested, and I appreciate your support and look forward to working with you. One more question. Will this be exclusively for veterans, or is it possible that if you solve the problem with the veterans, you may take this for other people or not?
Mr. Chairman,
Either.
Can I just answer, or how does this go?
No, either one of you, whoever, just, if you raise your hand, I'll see it. But Mr. Kander, please proceed.
Okay. So I appreciate the question. I will say that the way we operate, it is exclusive to veterans, but we have a very expansive view of veteran, much more than what traditional programs have. Now, one day, Brian and I have talked about this. One day in the distant future, we would love to be able to take this program and expand it out beyond that. We have lots of ideas for that sort of thing. But in the near future, it is exclusive to veterans. But the good thing is, unfortunately, when people talk about veterans, like at the federal level, under what qualifies for the VA, what a lot of people don't realize is that it's actually a pretty exclusive category. There are a lot of people who we all would consider veterans who aren't included in any of those benefits. At VCP, we don't do it that way. If you raised your hand and took the oath, if you wore the uniform for a single day, you qualify for 100% of our services, no matter whether you were Guard, Reserve, no matter your discharge status, any of it.
That's good to know, because I'm sure people that have served have all sorts of circumstances. So that does expand it, and that puts me in a better place. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
I see Mr. Meyer had his hand up. Please proceed.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that a little bit, because I think a population we additionally serve that goes overlooked all the time is National Guard. We offer all of our service to National Guard members as well, whether they ever did active duty time or not. We feel that that's a population deserving of our services, so we work with them as well.
All right. Thank you very much. Alderwoman Hubbard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I just want to congratulate Alderman Todd on this effort. And also, I had a few questions. I'm not sure if they were added to the document or I just didn't see it. Can you detail more like what the occupancy will be or how many tiny homes it will be? I'm not sure if I missed that during the presentation or we just weren't provided that information.
No, we haven't. We did go over that last time back in July, but I'm sure we need a refresher. So Mr. Kander, Mr. Meyer, either one of you.
Oh, because I don't remember at all.
Okay. Either one of you are familiar with the specifics as far as that, please take over.
Brian, go ahead, man. You've got it in front of you, I think.
Yeah, I sure do. So this site in particular will have 50 houses as transitional housing, in addition to 2 utility buildings. So one will be the case management offices. And then on the other end of the property, we're actually going to have the other piece of what we do, which is in a walk-in clinic. So any veteran can come in and receive services, not just the veterans in our village. So it's 50 houses and 2 large office spaces.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you. Alderwoman Murphy.
No, I mostly answered. I want to know the number. And is each house for an individual, or will there be any kind of group arrangements?
Please proceed, Mr. Kander, if you have that answer.
So we do have,
Brian? Okay.
Yeah, so we have two different size models we make.
Right.
The majority of them are individual units, but we also do what we call family units.
Ah,
And most of the time, the family units, what you see are individuals who move in and all of a sudden they're getting custody rights again or visitation rights, something you can't get in a traditional shelter or group living situation. So a lot of times those are the individuals that move into the family units. We don't have a lot of families that really stay in the village because if you're homeless with children full time, there's a lot of different options out there and we'll find and place them there. So to answer directly, yes, mostly individual, but we also have a percentage that are family units.
thank you very much. Sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alderman. Alderwoman Spencer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll add my congratulations to Alderman Todd. Jason, Brian, missed the presentation in July, but had the opportunity to hear you on KWMU, I guess, a month or two ago. Really inspiring project. With the 50 units, can you talk about what kind of dent this is going to make in St. Louis and how much, work we may still need to do? I know this is an incredible step in the right direction and will help a tremendous number of people beyond just the 50 families, et cetera. But can you talk about the scope of the overall issue?
Either one, will Jason, Mr. Kander, please proceed.
Sure, I'll start and then I'll throw it to Brian for the specifics. I think the best way to answer that is to kind of draw out to a little bit larger context for a moment and talk about the concept of veterans homelessness and how it's categorized. And what I'm about to say, I think a lot of you will be familiar with because you've been in city government for a while, which is there's been this thing in the United States for at least a decade where you see cities declare victory, I put that in air quotes, over veterans homelessness. And the way that they do that is they use a statistic called functional zero or statistical zero. And as many of you are aware, it's literally just going out, counting on a given night, how many homeless and also specifically how many veterans homeless. And again, that's a number that usually has to do with the people who are eligible for VA services. It's a much smaller number and a much more exclusive characterization of what a veteran is. And then they'll say, okay, we got, let's say 150 homeless veterans and we have 150 empty beds. We now have declared victory. We have functional zero. We declare victory over veterans homelessness. We're excited about the fact that Kansas City wasn't satisfied with that and that St. Louis isn't satisfied with that, which is why we have a role to play. So the answer to your question is just really to talk about what happened in Kansas City. And it's made an enormous difference in Kansas City. It's actually for the most part, defeated veterans homelessness in Kansas City to the point where when the village started, it was pretty much bringing in people from the street, like your traditional sense of homelessness, off the street into a tiny house. And now, if you look at the makeup of the village, most of the people in the village are actually in an expanded category of homelessness. So there are people who are couch surfing. There are people who are on their last rent payment or living in their car who are about to be homeless. Because we've been able to so terrifically go after that traditional homelessness portion that we're actually able to now start working our way sort of up that chain of homelessness. So that's the difference it's made in Kansas City. I'll let Brian speak to whether we have, I assume probably pretty similar expectations in St. Louis.
I think not only do we have similar expectations, but we've learned so many lessons from starting off here in Kansas City, and we're able to bring a lot of those best practices with us. One of the things that additionally makes us unique, I briefly mentioned that walk-in clinic that we're gonna create as well. There's a severe lack in homeless prevention services, just generally, especially in the veteran field, meaning that to qualify for a lot of services, especially federal programs and things like that, you actually have to be homeless to qualify for it. We don't take that approach. We understand that preventing homelessness is much more effective than curing homelessness. So I just want to draw attention to the fact that we also bring a very significant homeless prevention program to us to keep the numbers from growing. In terms of impact specifically, so our houses right now, we average, so each house, you can kind of average it out to about 1.5 veterans per year transitioned from homelessness into permanent housing. Again, it's transitional. So it's about taking big bites year over year until we can get there. I'd love to be able to come in and fix it all at once, but I do believe that this will make a significant impact in a very short time frame.
Thank you very much. Anything else, Alderwoman Spencer?
No, I think that's excellent. I'm glad to hear. I didn't realize that 1.5 veterans per year figure turnover. I would just like to add maybe an encouragement to work. I'm sure you're already doing this, but working with some of our existing service providers with the continuum of care and others that are operating in this sphere and certainly could benefit from this housing model. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you both for being here. I appreciate the opportunity to ask a question.
All right. Thank you, Alderwoman. I don't believe Alderman Muhammad has joined us. I don't see him. Alderman Oldenburg, you're up next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Kander, Mr. Meyer, thanks for being with us today and explaining this. I had a couple questions. One sort of springboards off Alderwoman Spencer. Who are, or what has been some of the successful models you've done in Kansas City with local partners, whether it be the VA, or I'm sure there are partner and or other partners that are providing kind of the social service aspects, finding more permanent housing, plugging them into jobs, into society, et cetera. And then who are the financial partners also that you work with? Are they contractors? Do you work with affordable housing real estate developers? Is it all private donations that kind of capitalizes the project? Are some of the first couple questions I had.
All right. Either Mr. Kander or Mr. Meyer?
I'll split it with you, Brian. I'll do the finance side and then you do the partner side.
Cool.
So on the finance side, I appreciate you asking this because it gives me an opportunity to explain sort of the advantages and the challenges of our model. The challenge is that because we have that expanded definition of what is a veteran and we do things that are outside the normal framework of these grant programs. So expanded definition, I already explained. Outside the framework is, for instance, when Brian mentioned that we don't have a very small and narrow definition of what homelessness is, right? We don't charge any rent, and we don't have a requirement on, like a cap on how long someone can stay with us, right? Our average stay is about 262 days, but we never create homelessness. We're never putting somebody back on the street if they're not ready. The only rent people pay is if they continue to conform and work with their case management plan, they stay with us. All of those things make it much more difficult under the existing framework for us to take federal grants and federal money. And if we did, we'd have to turn away a lot of our veterans and we'd have to change this very successful model we have. Now, I want to see that change in the next administration so we can take federal money, but it hasn't yet. So we operate almost entirely in the past on private donations. Now, in this situation, we were fortunate to be able to work with the state and the medical marijuana licensing fund. So we're going to have it's going to be actually the very first infusion of public funds we've ever had. And the reason we're able to do that is because they're not federal funds. They don't come with any strings attached. So we can use them to do the work that we need to do. But yes, we rely very heavily on local corporate and foundation and otherwise partners. And in this case, actually, we have we have the state partner, as I mentioned, and then we have one pretty large corporate partner that we'll be announcing, at this land dedication in a couple weeks. And then but we have a long way to go. We're going to raise a lot of money in St. Louis to get this done. But with that, I'll let Brian go to the way we do partnerships.
And I would also just add on that one of the things we found to have a great amount of success with is in-kind partnerships from the construction standpoint, meaning, building partners, larger construction companies, they can't always give flat out, but for projects like this, and because we are a nonprofit, we generally find we get heavy discounts. So that's why sometimes putting a round budget on things can be difficult because we never know what somebody's going to come in with at the last minute and donate to us. In terms of the partnerships, one of our big sayings around here is complement, not compete. We are in order to run lean, when we talk about all the services that we provide, we're not providing them ourselves. We have our case managers that are our employees. but we partner with every other existing organization out there. If there's somebody doing something, we want to tap into them and partner with them, not duplicate what they're already doing. But sometimes we find that there are services needed that people are not doing. So we go out and we source a new partnership in the community. In Kansas City, actually, we were really lacking with some financial literacy courses. So we tapped into one of our donors, a great banking partner, and now they bring people in and teach financial literacy to everyone. We work directly with the Continuum of Care in Kansas City, the VA, all the traditional service providers. So we want to add to that system, not necessarily pull away or compete with it. It just makes us better at what we do.
Okay, thank you very much. Alderman Oldenburg, anything further?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, John.
Thank you,
No, I
sir.
don't have anything. I just appreciate your time and thank you, Mr. Kander, and thank you, sir.
All right, well, we still have a few more questions. Alderwoman Pam Boyd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have any questions. I want to applaud Jesse, Alderman Todd, for his determination. And as me, I still call myself a new alder person. And so he's learning as new alder people. There's a lot of steps that we have to learn to take, and patience and understanding to get projects on. I think this is a fantastic project. And just a little FYI, I have a lot of land if you want to build a house. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
No questions, thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Kander, Mr. Meyer, thank you. Very informal. It's a very and informative, I should say, and also very, very worthwhile. I appreciate that. If we have no other questions from the committee, Alderman Todd, you're welcome to close.
I would just ask the board to please support the Veterans Homeless Project. As a teenager being homeless myself, I know how devastating that can be. And the other thing is that the Veterans Small Home Project, which is dear to my colleague, Alderman from the 19th, can be a model for us to help other homeless populations in the future, as well as our veterans. So I would ask the board to please support our veterans, as well as we can use this as a demonstration project that, and this could occupy, so it's a very good project, and our veterans deserve this.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. With that, I'll entertain a motion to pass out Board Bill 94, the due pass recommendation.
So moved.
Entertain a second.
Second.
Sharita, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Davis,
Aye.
Alderman Vaccaro,
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard,
Aye.
Alderwoman Hubbard,
Aye.
Alderwoman Murphy,
Aye.
Alderwoman Spencer,
Aye.
Alderman Muhammad, Alderman Oldenburg,
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd,
Aye.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard,
Aye.
Chairman Ballmer.
Aye. All right. With that, we have approved the motion. We'll be sending Board Bill 94 to the full board with a due pass recommendation. I thank Mr. Kander, Mr. Meyer for your information. It's very good. Alderman Todd, you folks are excused. With that, we'll excuse the Alderman from the 21st for necessary absence. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to
Second.
adjourn.
Second.
All right. With that, I thank you all for your time and look forward to seeing your Zoom faces again soon. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
Mr.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.